All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. It is Thursday, Thirsty Thursday. For those of you who are thirsty, it is Thursday. What are we talking about today? We've been smack in the middle of so much electronic synth pop music. It's been good this week for those of you who are fans, and for those of you who are not, well, you got a break from me, so you're welcome. But we're talking about today's band, and I cannot talk about this topic without talking about today's band. But before we get to that, I just realized I have my IRS t-shirt on, IRS Records. And yes, I digress, but I do think it's notable. I did mention it once before, but maybe you missed it. IRS Records started, co-founded by Miles Copeland. Do you know who Miles Copeland is? His father, Miles Jr., actually worked for the CIA. 4 sons, 3 of them might be familiar to you. There's Miles, and he started co-founded IRS Records. He also did lots of stuff in the music industry, but the IRS Records had all kinds of artists back in the day. He was manager of the Police. They had REM, the Bangles, Berlin. They had all kinds of bands on there. So there's him. Then there's his other brother, Ian, also in the music business, management business. He started a Frontier Booking International, which represented bands like the B-52s, The Cure, The Police, Simple Minds, The Go-Go's, The English Beat. Frontier Booking International, FBI. See where I'm going here? FBI, CIA, The Police. And speaking of the Police, the other brother, Stuart Copeland, that's the one you should know. He was in the Police. Oh my gosh, what is going on here? We've got the Police, the FBI, the CIA, Murder by Numbers, Message in a Bottle. It's all right in front of our faces. How could we not have seen it? Anyway, like I said, I digress. What are we talking about today? We cannot talk about synth pop, rock, electronic rock without talking about this band, OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. They didn't really care for that name in the end. We'll get to that, but these guys out of the UK formed in 1978, working class guys, coming from various bands, meet up, and they figure they're going to do like one gig when they kind of put this band together. So they used the words that were kind of written on the wall of one of their members, various song ideas, and they came up with OMD, and they figured it was a one-time only gig, and so they used it, and they said we should have come up with something different. But anyway, they put out a single. They put out just a one-off single. It was supposed to be produced by somebody on Factory Records, but it wasn't. It ended up falling through, so they used their demo, and they figured they were done, but it actually took off, and that first single just did pretty good. Electricity, I believe it was. And it did so good, they were signed to a 7-record deal. That sounds kind of fishy. I hope they made out financially on that one. 7 records is a lot. But that music that got them, they were opening up and touring with Joy Division. Remember, we talked about Joy Division just 2 days ago. Joy Division, after the death of Ian Curtis, turned into the band New Order. And OMD toured with Joy Division. And we'll get to that part in a second. But they made some money, and they took their money, and they built themselves a studio because they figured they weren't going to last on the record label. They were going to get dropped, so they might as well be able to make their own music. So they built their own studio, actually built some of their own instruments, saved up enough money to get their first synthesizer, and that's when they started writing their own stuff and getting ready to put out their own records. And they did pretty good. They started having a following and some hits. Their second album was kind of dark because Ian Curtis died, and we talked about that, and it was inspired by that. But they had some really good songs. They were getting some following in the UK, picking things up. And we'll do their songs in just a minute, but things started to work for them. Gary Newman, 1979, early Gary Newman had them touring with them, and it was Gary Newman's first major tour of the UK, and Gary Newman really helped launch them and supported them and was really a big deal in their career. And we already covered Gary Newman not that far back. Love Gary Newman, but these guys, OMD, really got a break from him, and they ended up being considered among the pioneers in this kind of music, and they do attribute a lot of that to Gary Newman. So they didn't quite break through the United States at all this time. They're putting out all their singles. Finally, in 1985, they do have a breakthrough one called So in Love. If you don't know that song, that one was their first one to chart. And then, of course, where did we all hear about OMD for the first time? The John Hughes film Pretty in Pink. Of course, the ending scene at the high school dance, If You Leave, that's the song that was just catapulted them into the stratosphere. That went to number 4 in the US. The story goes that they were asked to contribute a song to the movie, and the movie had a different ending, and they put up a different song called Goddess of Love, and that's what they submitted to them. But the ending of the movie got panned by people who were screening it. They hated the ending, whatever the ending was, so they reshot the ending and asked them for a new song, and they had 24 hours and they wrote If You Leave. How about that? Becoming their signature song. And they would go on and release some more singles. They played in 1988. They played the Rose Bowl, that Depeche Mode 101 Music for the Masses tour that just got remastered this past year, I believe. You can see that whole concert remastered. It's a big deal, but they played on that tour. And they had just some really, really good songs. We're going to get to those right now. But by 89, they had disbanded. They had already gone through some changes. They did get back together, falling out. I mean, all that stuff. I would like to say that we did see them just before the pandemic hit. We saw them with the B-52s in Berlin. And let me tell you, OMD put on quite a show. One of the best shows I've seen in years. My wife and I just were in awe of how good Berlin and OMD were. B-52 is a little disappointing, but we already got into that on a different episode. But OMD were so good live. We will absolutely see OMD tour when they come around again, because they were that good. All right, what are their songs? We're at 7.5 minutes. Electricity, Messages, Enola Gay. Enola Gay, awesome. Sometimes you know their songs, you don't know their Enola songs because you don't know the titles, but that one you can hear on satellite radio, and that's awesome. Joan of Arc, there's 2 songs called Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc and Joan of Arc Maid of Orleans. They did change it to Maid of Orleans, I think, for the singles, but there are 2 there. Tesla Girls, Locomotion, If You Leave, like I said, Dreaming, So in Love, Souvenir, Dream of Me. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there. Just pick up their greatest hits and play it today. You're going to enjoy that music. If I have to pick a song of the day, it's going to be tough for me. It goes down to So in Love, Dreaming, or Enola Gay. You can mix those up. It could be any one of those. But I'm going to go with So in Love for Song of the Day on a technicality here, just because they're all so good. If I have to name one song, that's the one. But you're listening to OMD today, and OMG, I've gone a long way on this episode once again, so thank you for sticking with me and listening as usual. Oh,
I'm crashing.
You scared me. Hi, Zoe.
Hi.
What's going on?
I'm crashing on my last day.
Oh, is it your last day?
We'll see, depending on the snowstorm. We gotta talk about it. I wanted to close it out with you.
Oh, you did. Well, you've been here quite a while, and we were supposed to do an episode together, were we not?
Yeah.
And are you actually leaving tomorrow with the weather?
I don't know. We'll see.
Because if you're not, then you're gonna.
The door waiting
well, if you're oh, awesome. Well, if you're not, then we can actually film an episode. Maybe. All right, Zoe. Last semester of senior year, University of Maryland. Go Terrapins.
Woo.
Yep. All right. So I was talking about OMD. You know who OMD are?
Don't put me on the spot like that.
I know I won't. It's all right. But anyway, 80s music, John Hughes films,
yeah.
Pretty in Pink.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where this one comes from. So if you haven't seen, did you see Pretty in Pink?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. It's the last song in the school dance.
Okay.
Yeah. If You Leave.
Okay.
That's a good one. Well, that was a surprise. I was like, what is going on here? I was just about ready to close it out. But Zoe, thank you for joining to close it out. And if we have more time tomorrow, if you don't leave, if you leave, we can't. See what I did there? But if you don't leave, we can maybe pull something together. But thanks for joining me here in the Rock Cave. So, you gonna take it out with me?
Yep.
All right. Thanks for joining me, everyone. And we'll catch you on the flip side.